am I wrong for feeling satisfied to see how how the passing of JT went down? Am I the only one? Because it's like, dog, just like 30 seconds ago, you was about to choke the life out of this woman and like just slowly watch her lights go out. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Ryan Reviews Everything, and we're talking about the season finale of season 2, Reasonable Doubt, and just, oh man, encore, huge applause, yet another wonderful season. My only request is I hope season 3 comes sooner than later. I know there was like the strike going on for the past couple of years, and of course we got the world got shook by the pandemic. But now that things are, coming along and flowing a little more smoothly these days, hopefully we don't have to wait another 2 years for a season 3 for Reasonable Doubt. This was an amazing show. I really feel like Emi Coronaldi and Morris Chestnut, pardon me, I feel like they had great chemistry throughout the entire season. And let's just get started with this recap, man. They ain't wasting no time. First off, I was on the edge of my seat for the entire episode, but especially within the first half of the episode. Once again, they ain't wasting no time. They go right into it. You see Jax talking to Shanelle, talking about, I know who really did JT in. And then they go for the flashback for what truly, truly happened. I think at some point a few episodes ago, I was all in. I was sold that it was Sally who, it was Chanel's cousin who killed JT in order to save Chanel's life. And boy, was I wrong. They go through the flashback and you see how everything unfolds. You see the argument, the buildup, and you see JT is choking the life out of Shanelle, saying hurtful things like, I should have did this a long time ago. It is, and of course, a domestic violence situation is so unpleasant, So that was still uncomfortable to watch, even though we know that she survives. But just seeing how it played out, it was still uncomfortable to watch. But we see this happen, and then the hit on the head comes, and we see it's JT's daughter, Chanel's stepdaughter, Natasha. Natasha saw what was going on. Didn't mean to kill him at all. Just hit him so he would get off of Shanelle. Hit him a little too hard, and he bleeds out. And yes, am I wrong for feeling satisfied to see how the passing of JT went down? Am I the only one? Because it's like, dog, just like 30 seconds ago, you was about to choke the life out of this woman and like just slowly watch her lights go out. All of a sudden, tables turn when your own daughter hits you in order to get up off of Shanelle, and now you're on the ground bleeding out, begging for Shanelle to call 911. You're saying sorry. You're begging as hard as you can, man. And of course, in certain situations, violence shouldn't be the answer. But I can't help it, man. I was a satisfying death. It was up there with Joffrey from Game of Thrones, if you ask me. And I'm not even trying to hype it up like that. Like it was satisfying to see that. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, so we definitely see the whole thing goes. How it went down. You're seeing how Shanelle was like, "Yo, you were never here. You was at your dorm the whole time. That's all you gotta say." Oh man, and it was just showing the type of a big heart Shanelle really had, So that was wonderful to see. Once they found out this information, they relayed information to Lucy, who, of course, she's feeling pressure to still win this case, and she denies, having this new, this new form of evidence come into play. She's like, nah, it's up to the jury. She did like my man at the hotel. Hey, it's out of my hands now. We got to see what the jury says, this and the third. All of a sudden this comes up because your witness, Shanelle, blew it on the stand. Nah, we going ahead with it. And so I'm just on the edge of my seat the entire time. Whew, yeah, it was very intense. And once again, I may not go scene by scene. I'm just focusing on certain characters that really stood out. Of course, you know, there's some time that's going in between where you're seeing them, you know, just having the jury decide and stuff like that. And I also think I did like is, you know, how they really showed in this case how Lucy could really relate to Shanelle more than she would like to admit. And she actually played a very slick game. I'm not mad at her for that. I think that was very smart. Of course, I don't think, well, I feel like you should keep your hands to yourself in general, but especially men should not be hitting women, things of that nature. So, hey, you know, call it entrapment, whatever it is. I commend Lucy for how she purposely pushed buttons of her dangerous ex-husband and how he got taken up out of there. You know, she's pushing his buttons and he's saying stuff like, "Man, I should have killed you." "Oh, you recording me, bitch?" And next thing you know, the cops walk in right on time when they get coffee and take him up out of here. But long story short, you know, just to get to it, I really enjoyed how, you know, once the sentencing happens, you see, you know, you definitely see the sentence come down, and she's found not guilty for, what was it, second degree murder, I believe, but they find her guilty for involuntary manslaughter. So it's looking like she's still gonna do time. And I thought it was very, of course, if that's one of your best friends, you're gonna do what you have to do. But I thought that was so big of Jax to talk to Lucy on some one-on-one stuff, woman to woman. Look, I know you can relate to, and she told her about herself. Jax told Lucy about herself. I know you can relate to Shanelle more than you would like to think. You're just the one that has a lot more privileges than Shanelle, you know. And if you I don't even think you need to read between the lines. It's like, you know, you're in a better situation than that. You're a white woman who can play victim a lot easier than a black woman like Shanelle can, you know, and that was very evident. And so I like that Jax talked to Lucy behind the scenes. And clearly, once the sentencing came out, it did rule in, you know, heavily in Shanelle's favor. And I feel like at the end, all parties won. You know, Lucy was so under the pressure to make sure that her next big court case is a win for her firm. She did do that, you know, and I really do believe what Jack said. It's like Lucy talked to the judge behind the scenes to give it like a very, very minimal sentence. And I think it was like 5 years of probation, some community service, if I'm not mistaken, some counseling. But long story short, she got to do these things, but no jail time. So I feel like everyone won in this case. Lucy definitely turned out to be an extremely formidable opponent for Jax and Corey Cash, for that matter. And in terms of you know, Lewis, I was totally off by that. I thought something would have happened where Tony passed away while trying to give birth to the baby. I was off. Clearly, the baby it's the baby who ends up unfortunately passing away. Therefore, not necessarily having you know, and that's such an awkward situation. You know, on one hand, a life has been lost, you know, a premature baby or whatnot. But I know Lewis at the same time kind of sounded like he felt guilty and relieved at the same time for, you know, that this is one less mouth he now has to feed, you know. So that's kind of awkward. But if you saw how this thing with Lewis went out, he had a good launch of whatever video game he was coming out with. We definitely see at the tail end of it, looks like the family is doing their happily ever after thing, and then they get served for the death of Tony's baby, which you gotta come out with a season 3 sooner than later, because I'm trying to find out what's you know, what grounds is that, you know, like what's the justification behind that. But also, just to rewind a little bit, I know I'm all over the place. We also see that that, you know, Tony wants to have like a homegoing service for her baby who passed, and Lewis wants no parts of it. And I feel like that, the more I'm talking about it out loud, I feel like that may be what is justifying Tony's reason for trying to take them to court, or at least take Lewis to court. Feels like Lewis is somehow responsible for the death, because if you remember, Tony clearly said And she said the same thing when trying to get Lewis involved in his homegoing service. Look, I told you we had to be involved, but you and Jax both was pressuring me to get y'all involved. Now I get y'all involved with the homegoing service. Now you don't want no parts of me anymore. So I don't know if it's a combination of maybe a woman who's hurt because she lost her baby, or does she really have a leg to stand on? It's like you want to be involved, and all of a sudden you don't want to be involved anymore. Maybe that has some type of justification within the legal system. Other smaller storylines, you definitely see that the sister, the daughter, I hate that I forget her name at the moment, which is kind of, unfortunately proving the point a little bit. She felt like she wasn't getting as much attention as her brother Spencer. Spencer is going to this, top performing art school. Spencer has one of the best performances of the night at this whatever play they was doing. And you could tell like the sister is just looking like, damn, I'm just kind of left in the shadows here. I thought Lewis handled that well the moment that the daughter expressed how she felt about Spencer feeling like Spencer was getting more of the limelight. I thought Lewis handled that part really well, letting her know that she does matter. He does know that she exists, and decided to lighten the mood with, saying young people jargon like that's cap or whatever young people say. I'm a butcher just as much as Lewis did. And yeah, man, another small side story that I thought, hopefully we'll see more developments of it. Sally and her husband, the same husband who said no to putting our house up for Shanelle's bail or whatnot. She still went behind his back and put the house up. The same husband who is the last to know about what really happened to JT, and Sally knew about it the entire time. So the moment that they were at the couples therapy or whatnot, I don't blame him for saying, yo, I'm trying to uncouple and she wants to reconcile, because it's like, it's like, okay, we're supposed to be a team, but you just either disregard my input and go behind my back and do the complete opposite despite me saying otherwise, or some really big information and you don't tell me about it at all, and I'm supposed to be your husband, the person you lay down with, this and the third. So who knows, man? Maybe in season 3 they do reconcile by going to by going to couples therapy and seeing that could save their marriage. Also, I really do hope that we can get Morris Chestnut in season 3. I really felt like, once again, he fit the show very well. And we're introduced to a new love interest for Corey Cash as well. So yeah, I say keep him in, man. He was dope, and I thought he really had great chemistry with the entire cast. But Morris Chestnut is like a acting veteran. He's been around the block a few times. That's a really good household name. And I will end it with this. I did also like how Jax also got full closure with the ghost of Michael Ealy's appearance as well. I thought that was dope as well. And yeah, man, that's it, man. I thought this was great. I really am looking forward to season 3. Hopefully it gets renewed. I gotta see what justification does Tony really have by sending them to court. And of course, Jax is a great lawyer, so it's going to be an uphill battle trying to beat Jax in that courtroom. So yeah, man, if you saw this episode, man, I know you was on the edge of your seat as well. Just let me know your thoughts. Love it or hate it, man. That's my take. Peace.